Hi everyone, my name is Iben and welcome to another episode of the Zoo of Ghent. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a brand new area of the zoo, the African area. Walking in from the golden snub-nosed monkeys, we enter into one of the two sections of the African area, the rainforest section. And this part of the zoo is heavily inspired by two areas in the Zoo of Overloon in the Netherlands. In one side you have Madidi, which is a South American area with a lot of theming towards deforestation and the rainforests and everything that comes with that. And on the other hand you have Nguye, which is the new African section, which has a lot of information and a big storyline regarding bushmeat. And what I really like about how Overloon tackles this kind of story is by being very nuanced and not going into a black and white storyline where there is a bunch of bad people doing bad things that should be done differently. But instead they focus a lot on why these things happen and how a black and white solution isn't going to change things at all. And the same thing I want to achieve here in this section of the zoo. The first real exhibit that you'll see in this area is the exhibit for the Red River Hawk, and it has this viewing area which is inspired by the Zoo of Overloon as well, where you just walk on top of this truck that is carrying a bunch of logs, and that brings you to the viewing area, and it immediately showcases the effects of deforestation. And that is something that I really wanted to achieve with this section, because it is a subject that a lot of people talk about, but it's difficult to really imagine what that looks like in real life, and this exhibit really does that for you. It also showcases how animals are getting away out of the rainforest and are forced to dwell amongst these kinds of forest graveyards, trying to find some scraps, trying to find some food. And I just want to point out that this chainsaw right here in front of us is of course not a real chainsaw, but it's a fake prop, probably made out of the same kind of rubber that a lot of the enrichment items are made of in real life. And talking about enrichment items in real life, this kind of exhibit for Red River Hawks is probably what you would end up with anyway, even if you didn't have the deforestation theme. Red River Hawks are known to completely destroy their entire exhibit, the entire amount of plants that are there. They just tear down everything, tear out everything. So this setup where it's just a kind of depressing look with just a bunch of trees is actually a realistic setup, and it takes the fact that these animals are so destructive, and which means that you can't have plants in it, and it uses that to create a storytelling concept, and that's something that I really like. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of this exhibit. It is freaking cool. This plaza also has Café Emmanuel, and this was my attempt of showcasing what the deforestation has as an impact on the local people who live here and what that does to them. So before we go inside, shout out to Marvin, a commenter on a lot of my videos. He made this incredible sign over here and some more props inside of this cafe. So shout out to you, I really appreciate all your work. And if you are a non-Bro Nation, join Bro Nation and watch his zoo, it's really cool. But let's take a look inside. And if you go inside, we can quickly see that Café Emmanuel has seen better days. The deforestation outside has taken away the visitors that Emmanuel had as a tourist spot, and slowly his entire cafe is just crumbling down around him. And that's really sad to see. And that's again part of the Overloon way of working that I wanted to introduce, is by showcasing that this isn't a black and white situation where humans are profiting from the situations and animals and nature are suffering. This is a very layered story. So I wanted to really showcase that this has a much larger impact and also has an impact on the local people. I really like the old TV over here. I am going to see if I can also add like a video in here that plays once in a while, which is again inspired by how Overloon and Libema does it in general, by playing these infomercial videos that I'm saying infomercial, they have infomercials, but like they have commercials, they have news, they have like all kinds of different videos that they play, all within the storyline, and they always provide some information about the section that you are in. And I think I'm just going to let like a news reporter say something about the deforestation getting closer and closer to towns and the impact of it. Right on freaking time. A cool concept from the Overloon Zoo I took is the open door, because there is a door right over there with a glass panel that lets you look outside and gives you the opportunity to see some animals. And look at this freaking, it's freaking amazing. I'm so happy that this happened. I had to record this video twice, and I'm really, really happy that that we get to see this again, because I was so happy that it happened the last video, and now we have it again. So yeah, this is another part where you can view an animal, and I really like the idea that you can just sit here, have a drink, and all of a sudden, just mid-conversation, see one of the animals outside. I think that's really, really cool. On the other side of the plaza, you have this old hotel that's been out of business for a while, and you can already see it because the sign over here has torn edges. It's been decaying for a while, and inside you have the same thing again. The place has seen better days. There's dust, there's spots on the wall. It's not looking good. And we can see our first signs of some items that were used for deforestation. But I didn't want this area to be a fully like educational display. Instead, I noticed that I didn't have enough of these covered picnic areas in the zoo yet, so I thought this was a great opportunity to add it in. I really think that is something important for zoos to add, because I don't think you should be forced to eat in a restaurant if it's a bad day, or if there's just some rain that day when you visit the zoo. Instead, you should be able to eat inside as well if you brought your own lunch, which is why I added these benches. And I also, of course, introduced my own vending machine setup. I still need to remove the mud pillars though, so I'll put that on the checklist. But here at the back of the hotel, we also have an old balcony where you would have been able to drink some drinks and watch the rainforest surrounding you. But as you can see right now, that entire view has been destroyed. And that's the reason why the tourists no longer come here, and why this hotel has turned into the kind of ruins of what it used to be. I still really like how this exhibit works. You can see the porcupine and the red river hawk all over here. It's really cool to see them. And yeah, it's just, again, it's a very depressing exhibit. I know it, but it's intentional. And I really like how it really showcases what deforestation actually has as an impact on wildlife. As we move on from the hotel, we arrive at the forest edge. And as you can see, the trees here haven't been fully cut down yet. And I really like the contrast, because it makes it feel as if the people who were cutting down these trees are currently on a break, and that the rest of the forest is breathing for a little bit, but that it is going to be cut down as well. Again, this feeling of dread and the depression of it all, I really wanted people to feel it, and you can only do so, I think, by walking through this area. And just like how Libema shows in the Nguye area how the African forests are threatened by bushmeat and where that bushmeat goes to, I also wanted to make a kind of display that showcases one of the main reasons behind deforestation in Africa, and that is the production of charcoal. You can see that they've burned down some of the wood that they cut, that they're putting these pieces of charcoal in these big huge bags that they will then transport to the people who want them to produce this charcoal. And again, I really like this approach. I want to add another video over here by probably introducing like a kind of window here. I just don't know how I'm going to do it yet. And in the same vein that Overloon does it as well, where you have someone talking to someone here that lives here and is trying to make a living, is trying to do a job, and that there are people demanding them to cut down even more trees and produce even more charcoal. And I really like this approach by the Libema organization, because they really showcase that it's a very nuanced situation, that it's not a bunch of bad people doing bad things and harming the environment, and that the other side is like the perfect side and is telling them what to do. No, it really showcases that these kinds of situations don't happen out of nowhere, and that these kinds of situations don't exist outside of a real context of real human beings. These are people that are trying to get by as well, are trying to make a living as well, and it also shows that the solutions to this are nuanced as well, that you can't get a black and white solution to these kinds of problems. So yeah, that's one thing that I really hope to be able to do with this area, and again, I'm going to try to do that by incorporating another video right over here. I really like that approach of the Overloon Zoo. Continuing on, we'll go into the rainforest itself so we can actually see what is at stake here. We're moving into a more lush area. The people haven't come here yet and torn down these trees. And the first exhibit that we see right here is a Bongo and Kirk's Dik enclosure. And I really like it. I think the Kirk Dik here were probably just because the zoo has them and they wanted to put them in this area because this is a relatively new area. So they probably had these animals before and wanted to keep them and decided to combine them with the Bongo, and I really like it. If you've been paying close attention, you already spotted that there's movement behind us as well. There is in the back a DeBrazza monkey jumping and climbing on all of these climbing frames, which is a really cool sight to see. We're not going to go in that area of the zoo just yet. I still need to finish a few things, but I really also already wanted to show you what it looks like. And cross viewing, where you can see other guests from the viewing area that you are, isn't something that is usually promoted or anything, but I really like it in areas like this where it's the goal for you to explore everything, and without a visual indication that there is indeed something for you to explore, it's easy for you to miss things. So yeah, I still want to have that cross view. I still want you to be able to see the other guests right over there when you're watching these animals, so that you know this is a place that I can go to. But that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn right and go and look at another exhibit. And this is something that I'm not really good at making, a big cat enclosure, but I'm honestly quite happy with how it turned out. Let's see if the occupants are close by and if we're going to see them. And yes, we are. This is an African leopard exhibit. Most likely this would be a zoo mix, so not a pure African leopard. And there's two leopards in here, two sisters who are spending the time together. There is the ability, and I'll showcase this by moving to the side a little bit. There is a separate area right there that the bigger, I wanted to say aviary, but it's netted off enclosure can be used for, and this can just be like this can just be divided into two separate enclosures. That's what I was trying to say. I was just very distracted by the wonkiness of the climbing frame over there. It's really something, and I'm really hoping that Planet Zoo 2 can fix this. I get that this was their first foray at this, and I'm already very impressed by the results. But yeah, let's hope that they're able to fix this. But other than that, I'm really happy with how this exhibit looks. Again, I am not really comfortable making these kinds of exhibits. I don't usually do them, but I'm overall quite happy with the results. I'm also happy that the fact that there is a little bit of reflection here. As much as zoos try to avoid it, it still happens from time to time, and you can see that they at least try to counter it by adding this roof frame over here. And by the way, this climbing frame is set up. When the leopards are on top of it, it almost looks as if they are sitting on top of this roof as well, which is a really, really cool visual. Speaking of another cool visual, let's look at the final viewing area for the bongos. And once again, we're able to see how this is a multi-layered exhibit with one exhibit right here and a secondary exhibit in the back. And there you can see the second animal that is in that exhibit, which is a mandrill. It is a stand-in for the drills, but that's only because the mod wasn't really working for me. There was something that messed up the climbing, and the mandrill itself did seem to work, so I decided to go for that. But again, I'm really happy with this view. You can see the bongos here. You can see the animals in the back. Yeah, it's a really, really cool setup. And what I also really like is this little bamboo forest. It's inspired by how Antwerp has a bunch of bamboo in their bongo exhibit, which again makes it so that it looks as if you're looking at two separate exhibits, but it's just a continuation of the exhibit that we saw first. So yeah, really, really like how this looks. And right on cue, here's the third animal in the exhibit right there. It's a pygmy hippo. I genuinely love how much this... yeah, this makes me so happy. I think it's a really cool exhibit to see, and especially when many of the monkeys and the drills are on the climbing frame, and when there's a pygmy hippo walking across here, it is such an incredible sight to see. I really love it. You can probably hear me smiling when I'm talking to you here. This is where I'm going to stop the video. Thank you all so much for watching. In the next episode, we'll look at some more exhibits in this African area and probably already take a glimpse at the second section of this African area. Thank you so much for watching. Do everything you want to do, and see you in the next episode of the Zoo of Ghent.